Hello, I'm back and once again working on a dog hair and multi-fiber blend project. This one is Great Pyrenees, that's the white. We have sheep's wool, that's the black that you're seeing, including some other whites in here, not a lot. We also have the blue and the purples are both bamboo rayon fibers. Why? Why not? So I'm knitting the brim of my hat. As you know, I like my big brims. I don't have a lot left. This is 10 wraps per inch. However, the yarn that I'm going to be using, this beauty to finish off my hat, is not. This is an 8 wraps per inch. So this is an Aran weight again. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to knit a row in on my 7s. Then I'm going to increase to my 9s when I switch over to this guy. So I will let you know how that turns out. But right now we have a 4.5 inch brim. So that's nice and lovely. It's already starting to halo out beautifully. I expect that this will be haloing out beautifully as I work with it, as well as Chiengora loves to do. And we're going to get a nice slouchy or wide brim flipped up hat. So let me get to work on this and I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so I have gone from my blended chiengora yarn, making up my cuff, and now we're going to just my pure chiengora yarn. So this is all just undercoat. If you want to look at that, all of this is just the undercoat of a dog, the brushings, the sheddings when they blow their coat. Nothing else is added for this. I'm doing this because I love to be able to show that off, but I also like to show off, you know, my nice brim. So when this is done, this will be able to get folded up, and then you'll see the highlights of all of that, and then that white undercoat there. Now to just spin by itself, you need at least 1.5 inches of fiber. That's really important, otherwise you have to get very close and do very short, and then the hair likes to be difficult, well, the fur likes to be difficult with you, so it can be a real pain in the butt. So shorter strands, I just always blend shorter strands if I even deal with them at all, because yeah, they make it a lot more difficult than it needs to be. My favorite dog to spin from so far is the Great Pyrenees. You know, their hair, their fur, that undercoat is made to really just insulate them and keep them warm or cool depending. When they blow that coat, it is massive amounts. The hat I did prior that I dyed in apricot before blending with the purples and the coral, that was all from the same lot that I got this guy from. So, I mean, we got a lot from just the dog just saying, hey, you know what, I'm just kind of done with this coat for the year or 6 months or whenever they decide to blow their coat. On that note, my little sister, she knows which one she is, has shown me the pictures of her young Malamute blowing his coat. Just, she didn't know they did that twice a year. So she's got the bag and she's a few states away. She keeps saying she's going to send it to me. So I'm just waiting because I already have an idea on the hat and possibly cowl set. That's going to result from that, you know. He's a lovely, big, burly, he's still a baby. He's only a year old. I mean, he's huge though. He's a small horse. I'm pretty sure in an emergency I could saddle him. He's just that big. And so when I get my hands on that fiber, yeah, I think my sister's going to like the items that result from it. Now back to the Great Pyrenees though. One of the things I love about the Great Pyrenees working with their fiber is that it takes dye so beautifully. It's just hollow cord. It just takes the color beautifully no matter what color I throw at it. It's just gorgeous. In some cases, it's almost jewel toned. And so that definitely makes it my favorite. Now, the halo effect that you get, that beautiful fluffiness like you're looking at Angora, that definitely makes it awesome too. But you know, they're not my only favorite. Saint Bernard is definitely a close runner-up. Same deal. Now you don't, well, the Saint Bernard comes in different colorways, different patches and stuff. So unlike the Great Pyrenees that you'll usually see, it's just white. With the Saint Bernard, I notice I don't see as much as the haloing out that I would in the Great Pyrenees. I'll put a picture up to show you the difference of one just pure Great Pyrenees and one a pure Saint Bernard that I did both recently. And it doesn't halo as much, and it feels a little bit heavier when you hold them, a little bit denser, but oh my god, are both hats so incredibly warm. So I definitely love those two. I've worked with mongrels, the joke was, who have nice, wonderful undercoats. I even got to work with a lovely, he was a wolf hybrid, a wolf and Great Pyrenees hybrid. I did not know you could do that, but apparently you can. So beautiful result. I actually made a nice large cowl for that, and it just came out beautifully. Took on the coloring. Just anything I asked it to do, it did. You can kind of abuse the dog hair a little bit, kind of like you would the undercoat of a dog when you're just brushing them out and stuff. They're rolling around on everything. It can still mat up and get kind of grimy, but it seems to be a lot more forgiving than, say, actual Angora. That's another thing I love about this. So those are definitely reasons that I love working with dog hair. One of the bigger ones just being it's just better for the environment. You're not going to get people to give up dogs. Why would you? They're awesome creatures to have. They're wonderful companions. But if you have a big, fluffy, lovable family member, and then twice a year they shake off enough fiber to make another dog, then instead of throwing that into your waterways, into your landfills, we should be doing what other countries, almost every other country but the United States, it's quite normal to see chiengora products to the point where it's milled. It's milled yarn. You can buy it. I've seen it. I've played with it. It's wonderful. I think the oldest piece of clothing that they found dated back to ancient Scandinavia. But even here in the States, we have Native American tribes who would make dog hair blankets. So it was common that the animal doesn't need it anymore. It's just going to sit there, and instead of just letting it go to waste, why don't we get that and utilize it and make wonderful, soft, warm items that we can keep for generations and reuse. That'll work for us. And if you ask me, it's a great way to make our little furry companions earn their keep, right? They give us companionship and clothing. How can you beat that, right? Absolutely. Which leads me to another point. One of the main things I tell people who are interested in doing this is make sure that you are grooming and feeding your animal well. Just like with sheep's wool, if your dog, if he's not being fed right, if he's not being groomed correctly, then you can't use its fiber. It breaks. It's like human hair. If you don't moisturize it correctly, if you're having a horrible diet, your hair is going to look like crap. Same thing with these guys. So just a tip, just make sure, that your animals are well maintained so that when you get that undercoat, you have the option instead of just, throwing it into waterways, throwing it out and hoping enough animals can use it, or just throwing it into the dump. You can make or find somebody who can make a product for you that you can use and that you can just hold on to, especially, when you don't have that companion anymore. You will always have something from them that's tangible, it's tactile, you can hold it, you can just look at it and you can remember. So that's my spiel. I'll get off on my soapbox and I will see you back when I have gotten to the crown of this. Okay, so I have now done a total of 4 inches of the white, and as you can see, this brim's gonna fold up over that, and again just make an nice extra layer of protection here. So you gotta love that. So now I get to work on my crown, same thing, my decreased rounds with this, because this originally had 78 stitches on it. Instead of going 6 stitches and then knitting 2 together, I'm going to go 5 stitches and knit 2 together as my starter row after I do a row around. And then I'm going to do my decrease, and then I'll show you the end result. All right. Okay, so I'm on my next to last round, and that's knit 2 together. Well, knit 2 together, knit 2 together. You can see the shape of the crown. It's looking very nice. So this is going to be another big hat with a big brim. So I'm going to have this nice blended, colorful brim action going on here, with a nice warm cap and crown that's just going to halo out. It's nice, it's thick. It's just going to feel really nice on somebody's head. So someone's going to really enjoy this. So let me finish this off, and then I will show you what it looks like finished. All right, so this is the finished item, our finished hat. We have the white top, and then we have the blended chiengora brim. This is my remainder, so I'm thinking possibly pom-pom, add it as a stripe to another hat. Eventually I'll get enough of these, I can make a whole nother chiengora hat. So we have that, so someone can wear it slouchy style, or my little friendly mannequin will help me demonstrate. Just wear it as a nice brimmed hat. Now this needs a good steam-in to block it, but you can see what it looks like. You can see the shaped crown. I always like to show the shaped crown because it's just something I like to do. I just love the look of it. And somebody can, depending on how high they want their brim, they can adjust it. They can pull it down. They can slouch it out, however they like to do it. So this is going to halo out more and more as it goes, see? And it's just going to look really cool. So remember to hit that like and subscribe button for me. Any comments, questions? I always welcome questions about this because I tend to get a lot of questions about using the dog hair. Just put it in the comments for me. I'd be happy to answer you. So until next time in the next hat, happy knitting.